Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to the Silver Underground Podcast. We are coming to you live from the only corner of my garage that I keep clean. I'm your host, Doug, and if you're new here, this is a weekly podcast where I take a look at forgotten, unknown, or critically panned films, and I decide if it is worth your time or if it is not worth your time. So to start out, I gotta do some housekeeping. Last week, for Other Life, I completely forgot to even give you guys the Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic score. So, Other Life has a 59% on Rotten Tomatoes, and as far as I can tell, I couldn't find a Metacritic score. But 59%, I mean, it's still a majority vote for it, but it still kind of constitutes a rotten score. It's sort of surprising. I thought it was a good movie, but whatever. Like I said last week, check it out. It was worth your time. I liked it. And that's really it. Unless I missed something, you guys can correct me on that. Now this week I want to try something new. I want to try talking about trailers and movie news. Just a few articles that I found and a couple of movie trailers. Nothing too crazy. Also, I haven't really had a chance to really scour the internet and look for a bunch of movie news. But I found a few things that I wanted to talk about. So let's get into the news. So first off, the new Francis Ford Coppola movie, Megalopolis, dropped a trailer today. It's starring Adam Driver and Aubrey Plaza, a bunch of big young actors. I watched the trailer. It was odd, to say the least. It was very, what's the word? It was very egotistical, I guess. A little narcissistic, I guess. To say the least. It was very just... It started out with a bunch of poor reviews for his previous films, being The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, Dracula. Just a bunch of poor reviews and just saying how, oh, well, they didn't like it back then, but it's remembered now for being something great. And then it just kind of showed the trailers. It was very weirdly put together. But I would play the trailer and react to it. However, when I went to go get all the articles and all of the links and everything, Variety put out that Lionsgate pulls the trailer due to made-up critic quotes and issues an apology. So the weirdest thing about the trailer was also a fabricated part of the trailer, which I thought was kind of interesting. Very weird. I don't know why he felt, Francis Ford Coppola, why he felt he should have done that. But yeah, they pulled the trailer. They're probably going to re-edit it. There might be a new trailer dropping tomorrow. I don't know. But that's very odd piece of news. Another trailer dropped today for Mr. K, starring Donald Glover. And I had that one pulled up. See, this is why I don't do the news, because I never have my notes together. Mr. K, which is starring Crispin Glover, who I have not seen Crispin Glover in a long time. I can't even remember the last movie he's been in. Crispin Glover, of course, he played the dad in Back to the Future. Looking at his IMDb, it looks like he's been pretty active for the last few years. But yeah, Mr. K looks interesting. It looks very I guess The Shining-esque. He's basically working for a hotel, but he can't find a way to escape the hotel. Looks very interesting. Definitely want to add that to a list of things I want to watch. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And then also for trailers, we have Y2K, which is produced by Jonah Hill. It's starring that kid from It, who played Billy. Uh, that one looks pretty good too. It's a A24 movie, so everybody knows A24 is God around here. And it just looks like a fun slasher, I guess, or fun horror movies. Basically, the Y2K craze that happened 24 years ago, where everyone thought that the internet and electronics are all going to fail and we're going to go back to the Stone Age. Well, according to this movie, the electronics all kind of band together and kill everyone. It looks like a fun teen comedy movie. So, and also all of the links and everything is going to be in the description. So the trailers, everything. Finally, the last piece of news is from IndieWire. It reads, Rotten Tomatoes introduces a new audience rating for people who actually bought a ticket. So I know Rotten Tomatoes for a while has been, well, every now and then there'll be like a part of controversy for review bombing certain movies. That famously happened to I know one of the Star Wars movies, if I remember correctly. That got review bombed, at least audience wise. Critic wise, it was still like a 90% or something. But yeah, every now and then, or it was actually big. I think I remember people were accusing Rotten Tomatoes for review bombing DC movies whenever a Marvel movie would come out around the same times. But according to this part of the article, so the designation is only given to theatrical movies that have reached an audience score of above 90% among user ratings. The catch is the verified tag only counts users who Rotten Tomatoes knows actually bought the ticket for the movie. Now you're probably asking, how do they even know that you bought the ticket? Well, I think Rotten Tomatoes owns Fandango, or it might be the other way around. I'm not sure. But if you buy a ticket for said movie through Fandango, it'll come up. I'm sure your Fandango account will be linked to your Rotten Tomatoes account. It'll come up that you actually bought it, which means that you could actually write an honest review if you liked it or if you hate it. But I guess it has to be above a 90% user rating or something. I don't know. The article wasn't super clear how it's going to work, but we'll see how well that goes. I'm pretty sure that people are still going to... The internet is the internet. People are still going to be petty. They're still going to spend their money on a movie, and then whether they liked it or not, they're going to review bomb it, or they're going to give it a crazy good review. The internet's always been fun that way. But that is your news. Very short, sweet, to the point news week. So let's get in. And like I said before, all of the links to everything, if you want to read it, if you want to watch the trailers, it'll be in the description for this episode. But let's get in to the real reason why you guys are here. This week, we're going to talk about Gods of Egypt from 2016. This movie, I remember in 2016 when this movie came out, it was marketed so heavily, at least trailer-wise. Every time I would see a movie, I don't remember what month this movie came out in, but there was always a fucking trailer. It was always one of the first trailers for Gods of Egypt, and it always looked so corny. It looked so bad, and it came and fucking went. Um, Gods of Egypt, directed by Alex Proyas. Proyas. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Um, what else did he do? So he also did Knowing, the Nicolas Cage movie, and he also directed iRobot. So I remember liking iRobot. I haven't seen that one in a while, but Knowing started really well, and I remember it kind of halfway through just went in a weird direction. But yeah, right after Knowing, he did Gods of Egypt a few years later. Gods of Egypt stars Brendan Thurictius, who plays Beck. I don't know how to pronounce these people's last names. Holy shit. I'm having a hard time right now. I know that Brendan, he was in the last Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Nikolai Coster Waldau, who I know he was in Game of Thrones. Gerard Butler's in it, and Chadwick fucking Boseman also appears in this movie just randomly. So immortal hero Beck teams with the god Horus in an alliance against Set, the merciless god of darkness, who has what? Usurped. I am having a hard time right now. Usurped Egypt's throne, plunging the once peaceful and prosperous empire into chaos and conflict. I hope that made sense. Basically, Beck and Horus try to save Egypt from Set. That's basically the fucking movie. Yeah, this movie was an experience, man. Without putting the obvious out there, yes, the acting fucking sucks in this movie. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. I wasn't paying attention to the acting. I was forgiving the acting for what it was because honestly, even the poster looks bad for this fucking movie. But there was one poster I saw, and it looked pretty cool. I'll get into that a little later. But honestly, that was very few good that came out of this movie. It was one cool poster and one sequence that I'll get into. But yeah, Gods of Egypt, where the fuck do I start? So this movie starts out, it just reminds, it's like a video game cutscene. It just, the font that they used was so, I don't know if disorienting is the right word. You can't read anything that's put on the fucking screen. And it's like a weird mirror effect where it's like coming out of sand or something like that, but like it's mirrored below it. So you can't get a good, you can't read it very well. But we get some exposition about like there were two brothers and one of them thrived and created a city in Egypt, and the other one was basically banished into the sands where he just kind of fucked off for a while. I don't know. But we're introduced to Beck, who is like he's basically Aladdin. He's just a thief. He just kind of walks around town and just steals shit. And just right away, I had to fucking pause it because I was in awe, but the first 4 minutes, the editing in this movie was horrendous. It like scenes just kind of ended like, so Beck is walking through town and he sees a dress and he steals the dress. The shopkeeper notices him stealing the dress and he sends these guys after him. And right as the chase is about to start, it just cuts and he's opening the door to his front door. Like, The music is literally starting up like, it's going to be a chase scene through a city. And it just cuts. And he's home and he's giving the dress to his, I'm assuming it's his girlfriend. They actually don't really make it clear. It's his love. I don't know if it's his wife or his girlfriend, whatever, but gives the dress to her. Uh, Again, it just kind of hard cuts to her putting the dress on, and then hard cuts to them just kind of being all lovey around the house. It was just a weirdly shot sequence within the first 4 minutes. Like, I mean, this movie was 2 hours and 7 minutes long, which, first off, it has no fucking reason being 2 hours and 7 minutes long. Nothing fucking happens for the majority of this movie. But they might as well have gone the full 2 hours, 30 minutes with it, because, like, those scenes literally just needed, like, maybe a couple more seconds just to kind of, like, let the scene flow. It was very distracting. But anyway, we're then introduced to Horius, whatever the fuck his name is. He's a god. He's in his palace. He's about to be crowned the new king because his father is stepping down from king. And the gods in this movie are like 8, 9, 10 feet tall, taller than a normal human. The effect works okay. I mean, they literally just kind of did what they do in The Hobbit, where everyone else is small. It's like a I don't know. The effect's all right, for what it is, but there's a lot of green screen in this movie, and a lot of this movie, I'm willing to bet all of this movie actually was filmed in a soundstage, because the sets look very low budget. They don't look good. The gold doesn't look like real gold, but like the green screen, like everything is lit so bright that, like, fuck, especially with TVs now, you can see the green screen lines around the face, and like their hair will disappear every now and then. Like the green screen can't keep up with what's going on. But yeah, he's about to be crowned king. The whole town is there watching it, and then we are introduced to Gerard Butler, who plays Set. The names in this fucking movie is so, Jesus Christ, it's so fucking stupid. Yeah, he's just the token bad guy. I wanted to like Gerard Butler because I mean, I've seen him in things where he's good. He plays a good bad guy, and in this, he's just bad. He's not a good villain. He's evil for the sake of being evil. He basically he kills the king and then fights Horius, and I guess like each god has like a thing to them. Like ancient Greek gods, like one is like the goddess of love, another one is a god of wisdom, another is a god of just fire, fucking whatever. Horius, he has like an eye, basically. He can't miss with like a bow or a staff. So Set and Horius fight. They turn into these giant fucking armored creatures, which admittedly Set, Gerard Butler, his creature looked kind of cool. It was like this black dog looking thing. Horius's creature just looked like a weird armored winged, I don't know what. It didn't look good. Yeah, it just didn't look good. It looked this whole fucking movie looked like a PS3 cutscene. It was just the CGI was so fucking bad. Like, fuck, what was the budget for this movie? The see if I can find the budget. Usually IMDb has all this stuff. This movie had a fucking budget of 140 million and it looked like a goddamn sci-fi channel epic. It was the special effects were on par with Sharknado. I swear to God, like they looked fucking bad. The fight scenes in this movie too. The fight scenes were, it was like a weird mix of like Matrix, but like somebody who like just only saw the famous Matrix scene where it's like 360'd and it's slow motion. That's all the fight scenes. Like the camera just constantly spins around people really quickly, and it doesn't look good. It actually makes the CGI look fucking worse. But yeah, Set he pulls out Horious's eyes, which and also before this, like Set has like an army, and their shields have like mirrors on them, so it reflects the sun onto Horius, and like it kind of screws him up whenever he has to like throw his staff or whatever. Yeah, Set rips out Horius's eyes, and then Set basically rules over Egypt, and it's just he's just a big meanie head. He enslaves everybody. There's a thing in this movie where now people have to basically buy their way into the afterlife, where before they didn't have to, but under Set's rule, you have to bring something of value to the dead gods, and they'll grant you into heaven. If not, then you just fade away. It's fucking stupid. When it actually shows the people like in heaven, or like they're on their way to heaven, like one person gives a bunch of gold and he's granted in heaven, and he literally just dissolves. And then another chick, she doesn't have anything, so she can't get into heaven, so she just dissolves too, but she screams while she's dissolving. So I don't know if it just hurts, like you just get a less painful trip to heaven. I don't fucking know. But yeah, Egypt is under a dictatorship, and Beck and his love girlfriend, whatever, I think her name is Zaya. They find out that Set is keeping Horius's eyes in like this vault, which is bandit proof, and they get the idea to rob it. And yeah, that's what Beck does. He goes and steals one of the eyes from Set's, like, I don't even know what the fuck this place was, but there was just a lot of traps. There's a bridge. They get like a map, and it kind of shows how to get past the bridge because it's booby trapped. One of them, it was cool ideas. One of them, if the sun isn't shining on these little holes on the ground, it'll close and impale you. The other one, they didn't really explain what it does. The third one, it gets triggered somehow, and like the statues, they have swords that are sticking straight out, and they just start spinning, which, he's like rolling around and doing all this like acrobatic parkour shit, but you're watching it, and he could have just crawled through it and been fine. There was really no urgency. He was just being really fucking extra. But yeah, he gets the eye, and then he manages to escape. But before he escapes, his girlfriend, whatever, rats him out basically, and they have to escape, and like it just they escape so fucking easily. Like they don't, nothing really happens. They literally just run and jump out a window, and they get on a carriage and they're riding off, and one of the guards shoots an arrow with the smallest fucking bow I've ever seen in my life, and actually manages to hit Beck's girlfriend, killing her. So holy shit. And he rides all the way to where Horus is being held, which is basically just kind of like a tomb where he's just left alone, blind. And Beck makes a deal with Horus to save his girlfriend from the afterlife, and in return, because he only has one eye, they'll find the other eye and he'll kill Set. And honestly, that's basically the whole movie. They just kind of like go and do things throughout the movie. There's one scene where like they go into fucking space in this movie. And apparently there's like an Egyptian space station that's ran by a guy who's played by Barbosa from Pirates of the Caribbean. He's like the sun god or something, but he's the guy. He has like the sun on a rope, and he moves the sun to wherever he pleases. And there's a fucking scene where he's turning it into nighttime, and it pans out, and the Earth is fucking flat. So, guys, flat earthers fucking win. All right. Gods of Egypt say so. The Earth is fucking flat. It was the goofiest, the funniest fucking scene I've ever seen. It came out of fucking nowhere. And then to top it off, he just starts fighting a giant fucking worm. And then the scene ends, and they fly back to Earth. Even in my notes, I just put down what the fuck is even happening, because like in the small span of time, so much fucking happened that really didn't have much to do with the overall movie. Oh, and the fire god, he has this fire effect that's around him that just looks awful. It just looks like something like a Snapchat filter or something. But during this time, Gerard Butler, or Set or whatever, he's killing off other gods. There's one god that has like these angel wings. He's going after her, and Set just has this set of armor that looks so fucking goofy. He looks like the alien from the Aliens movies. It just has this weird fucking long curved head. And he's on this chariot he's flying around on a chariot that's carried by beetles, like giant fucking dung beetles. And yeah, he's just flying around this battlefield. And this is the worst effect of the whole movie, because it just, words can't describe how bad it looks. It looks like something off the Sci-Fi Channel. It looks like something from Sharknado. Like the same effects. It looks like it's fucking bad. It's bad with a movie, or for a movie that has $140 fucking million budget. It just with that amount of money going into it, you think the effects would be a little better, but it doesn't. It looks fucking terrible. But yeah, he goes and he kills the god with angel wings. I don't even remember what her god thing was, but the CGI just looked like this was the one area where it looked like it was unfinished. Like for some reason they just decided not to touch this scene. But yeah, Horus and Beck, they're back on Earth, and flat Earth, I should say. And there's like some centaurs that find them. There's a big fight scene. It looks fucking terrible. Um, and yeah, they're fighting off of a cliff, and they both fall, and it's established, which I forgot to mention earlier. These gods can't turn into their armored creatures, or at least Horus can't, because he needs both of his eyes. Even though earlier, to get to the Egyptian spaceship, he armored up and flew. I guess like it was explained that the fire god, which was his grandfather, gave him that quick power to come to and from the spaceship. The words that are coming out of my mouth right now sound so fucking ridiculous. But yeah, so he can't armor up and fly away as they're falling down this cliff. But he grabs his bow, and there's just conveniently two rocks that are bow's length that just stop their fall. And they're safe. And yeah, fuck, what else happens in this movie? I mean, Gerard Butler finds out where Horus is at, and he sends these two chicks that like ride on these giant snakes. They're like black and white snakes, and this this scene is the only good scene in this movie. It's like all $140 million of CGI bullshit was put into this one scene, because I was watching this and I was blown away. It's like I wasn't even watching Gods of Egypt anymore. I don't know what I was watching, but the snake effects, the giant snakes, looked really good. The action was still kind of shitty, but it's just the actual effect itself. Everything that was happening on screen actually looked real and looked good. It was almost like this was the big action shot that they are really banking on grabbing people in. Even though watching the trailer, this shit is barely even put in there in any of the marketing. But for some reason, this one action sequence, this is the one that looks the best. I forgot to mention earlier, Horus had a wife who was the goddess of love, whom, when Set took over, he claimed her as his wife, and so now she's quote unquote loyal to Set, but really she wanted Horus. She was the reason why Set found Horus in the first place. She runs off. She has like this bracelet because when she was a young girl, she traveled into the afterlife. And I guess the thing with the afterlife is once you go to the afterlife, you can't come back. But this bracelet that she had on protects her from the afterlife. Basically, the afterlife can't get her. She escapes through that. She takes it off for a second and puts it back on, and she's like teleported conveniently to where they fucking are, because while they're getting attacked by these snakes, she literally just walks into the scene and then just controls the snake, because I guess her power is being able to control people with her eyes. She controls the snake, and then they manage to defeat the snakes. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, they only defeat one snake. I don't remember what happened to the second snake. Honestly, I think they forgot about the second snake, because it's actually blanking my mind what happened to that second snake. Anyway, the three of them now travel together. They have to... Oh yeah, the fire god gave Horus like this water that he's supposed to put in this well, and that is supposed to somehow stop Set. They go to this temple where the well is at, and They're about to um, put the water in the well, but they're trapped. Set gets to them, and basically Beck fucks it all up for everybody, and yeah, he fumbles the ball, and Set destroys the water, or he just pours it out on the ground, and all hope is lost. Honestly, the movie just should have fucking ended there because it would have at least been something to think about. Like, just go for it. Just go for it. But no, there's still like an hour left in this fucking movie because it had to be 2 goddamn hours long. Um. Oh yeah, and the funny part is, like there was a scene where they're all walking, all three of them, and because Horus's wife is also a god, so she's also like um, 8, 9 feet tall. Um, she's taller than Beck, who's a human. There's a scene where they're both talking while they're walking, and like Beck is looking up to her, but his wife isn't. It's like they fucking forgot to tell her to look down a little bit because she's just looking straight ahead while talking. It was so fucking funny. With all the CGI in this fucking movie, I mean, like, Marvel movies, I saw an interview where I think it was Robert Downey Jr. was saying, "Oh, if we just forget to tilt our head up or do something with our arms, they just fix it in post. It's not a big deal." So, I mean, I don't know if they had that technology in 2016, but I'm fucking sure they did. This whole movie is a video game cutscene. It's all done in a computer. Fuck. Shit. Yeah, basically, yeah, all hope is lost, but then, um, Horus's wife sacrifices herself. She takes her bracelet off and tells Beck to go to the underworld and give it to his wife, girlfriend, whatever, and it'll save her. And which Beck does. He goes to the underworld and gives his wife the bracelet, but um, he. What's fucking stupid about it is it was established early on that once you enter the underworld, you can't come out. So he's sent to the underworld. He should be the one that has to wear the bracelet because he basically sacrificed himself. But no, he somehow leaves. His wife stays. Uh, doesn't accept the bracelet for some reason, and then there's just a big fight uh, in Egypt with Horus and Set. Set, like I said, he's killing all the other gods. He's taking certain things from the gods. So he takes the wings from the one goddess and the brains from Chadwick Boseman, who I completely forgot was even in this movie until just now. Chadwick Boseman, he's basically like all knowledge god. He knows everything. Um, Even thank God he was in Black Panther and 42 and just get on up because fucking Christ, he was bad in this movie too. And he dies. Gerard Butler takes his brain and puts it in him. He gets a heart. I forget who the heart was. And one of the eyes from Horus. He gets that put into him too. There's a big fight. Horus discovers the power within, and he doesn't need both eyes anymore to have the armor because he's in his armor fighting, and it just looks bad. There's a scene where Beck has the second eye, or no, he manages to rip the eye out somehow of Set, and they're fighting on top of this big tower. Set throws Beck, and no, Beck is about to. something happens where Beck is about to fall off the building, but he throws the eye towards Horus, and Horus, instead of, they try to have like a crossroads type of thing where it's like, oh, I can grab the eye and fight Set, but Beck will die, or I can grab Beck and the eye will be lost, and Set will potentially get the eye. And he does the heroic thing and he saves Beck. But what's fucking stupid about it is he could have gotten both eyes. He could have been at like the full power, and then he could have gotten his wings and flew down, grabbed Beck, and then gone back up to fight Set. Like, why the fuck did they even like mention that in the fucking movie? Like, oh, you probably should have grabbed the eye. It's but whatever. He doesn't even like get the eye, because like I said, he finds the power within himself, and he just becomes a fucking flying armored weird dog thing and fights Set. He wins. Beck dies, and this is a part of the movie. It was so late when I saw this movie. I started this movie at 7:30 ish. And I was pausing it throughout because I just had to update my wife over everything that was happening. So I didn't finish this movie until closer to like 9:30, 9:40 ish. But I was falling asleep. All right, I was getting comfortable. I was falling asleep. Beck died, and this was actually kind of, in the grand scheme of things, it was a beautiful scene. He was Horus brought his body back to his girlfriend, and they can both lay to rest in the same tomb. I fell asleep for a couple minutes, and when I woke up, fucking Beck is alive. His girlfriend, wife person is also back from the underworld. She's alive, and all is right in the world. And I don't give a shit enough to go back to see what I missed to bring Beck alive and why his girlfriend is alive. It doesn't fucking matter. It's a fucking stupid, whatever the reason is, it's stupid. Because, like I said, it's already established early on that once you enter the underworld, if you come back, the underworld, the demons are going to try to bring you back. They're going to constantly chase you unless you have that bracelet on. Only Beck's girlfriend has the bracelet. Beck should also be fucking chased after by the underworld too, but he's not. He's not. He's second in command to Horus, who's the king of Egypt, and it ends with Horus going, you know what? I think I'm going to find my wife, and Beck gives him the bracelet. He gives him the bracelet that Beck and his girlfriend should both be fucking wearing, and then Horus armors up and flies away, and the movie fucking ends. This movie was so goddamn frustrating to watch. It's so poorly fucking made. Like, the editing, it's just fucking weird because, like, for some reason they're like, oh no, we have to get it under 2 minutes and 2 hours and 8 minutes. So we need to cut a couple seconds off of these scenes. And just I'm not going to get into the acting. It's bad. Everybody knows it's fucking bad. Everything in this fucking movie is just bad. And honestly, genuinely, I believe this is the worst movie I've ever seen. And I know, like, I've seen movies like Violent Shit where it's just a nothing movie where a guy literally crawls into Jesus and fucking gives birth, and Donald Trump versus the Illuminati, where there's no continuity between scenes. Scenes just end and new scenes begin, and we're just supposed to take it, and there's no fucking ending to it whatsoever. But the difference is with those movies is that, like, that there's a charm to those movies. They are bad because, that's just what they had. Gods of Egypt is a big budget Hollywood film that tries to be an epic and just fails every step of the way. And that's why this movie was truly a bad movie. This is genuinely the worst movie I have ever seen. It's just, it's shock. I don't want to watch this movie ever again. Do I recommend this movie? Is it worth your time? Fuck no, it is not worth your time. It is 2 hours. This movie honestly could have been shaved. They could have taken out so much bullshit of this movie instead of shaving off like 5 seconds from each scene. They could have easily just compacted this into an hour 40, hour 30, fuck it, even hour 50 movie. And it still would have sucked, but at least it would have been, there wouldn't have been as much filler. It's just a terrible fucking movie. So this movie has a 14% on Rotten Tomatoes critic score, 37% audience score, and has a 25% Metacritic score. This movie, 25% is way too fucking high. This movie got fucking destroyed critically. And fucking box office wise, what was the box office for this movie? I have to see. I have to know. So yeah, with a $140 million estimated budget, this movie worldwide, okay, well, gross US only made $31 million. So didn't even come fucking close. Worldwide, it just made its money back, but just barely. $150 million worldwide. So this movie fucking tanked in the box office. It just fucking awful. Don't waste your fucking time with this movie. I saw this movie on HBO Max. It's also on Amazon Prime. I think it's like $2. Don't fucking spend your money on this movie. Cancel your HBO Max until they take this movie off. It is fucking awful. And that's Gods of Egypt, everyone. Holy fuck, I'm glad I got that out of the way. So usually I spin the wheel for next week's movie, but I put a poll out. Well, not really a poll. I just put out there on Instagram that I take user requests. So if you guys ever want to request a movie, just message me on Instagram and I'll check it out for the show. And I got a few requests. So the next couple weeks are going to be user request movies. So next week we're going to be talking about Van Helsing, a movie that my wife has been begging to watch ever since we saw Deadpool versus Wolverine. I don't know why she wants to watch it so badly, but we'll see. And yeah, if you like this episode and you want to keep up with the show, you can follow me on Instagram at Silver Underground Podcast. I'm also on Threads. You can find me on YouTube. This show is also on YouTube. Follow me on Spotify. And that's basically the show. Yeah, you can follow me everywhere. I'm also on Twitch as well. Don't forget Twitch. I'm trying to figure out a schedule for Twitch still. I would like to start streaming soon. Hopefully, like maybe a Friday night stream or something. That'd be cool. All Silver Underground Podcasts. Just look me up. Give me a follow. Give me a like. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Maybe don't. I don't care. But that's the episode. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.